like to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to come talk about Mount Grove and the baseball program there. Bob asked me to kind of go back to last season, what it was like to make the championship run that we made, and all I can say, it was awesome. It was a great time. We had a great group of kids. I mean, athletes all up and down the lineup, the same group that had went to the Final Four in basketball just during the basketball season last year. A lot of those kids come right back out and start in on the baseball side of it. We get through the season. Coach Hauser mentioned there earlier about the ball bouncing the right way and some good luck, and we had quite a bit of that last year. The ball would bounce in the right direction when we needed it to. It would find a hole whenever we were hitting and different things to that nature. And we were very healthy. We stayed healthy all year long, which obviously helped from that side of it. Probably the mindset for the kind of sum up the whole team and the season was the state quarterfinal game with Conway. It had rained and it was wet, and we go over to their place. They're the home team on the schedule, and we go over there, and my assistant coach and I walk out into the outfield, and we're standing in water about ankle deep, and we're thinking, wow, this is going to be rough. And my two outfielders that Coach Brand was able to sign there at Evangel, they get out there, and the first question out of their mouth, as seniors, they go, where's the canoes that we need to be playing out here? But we get into the game, and I mean, in a blink of an eye, we're down 4-0 in the first inning. And then we managed to scratch one back across in the bottom of the first, or I'm sorry, in the top of the second. And we just kind of fight back, and they're up on us 5-1 after 3 innings, and we managed to go ahead and just keep battling and keep putting the bat on the ball. And again, the ball bounces our way a couple of different times. And to their credit, they were able to bounce back, and we wind up winning the game 10-5. And we scored several of those runs against one of the best pitchers in the area, Hunter Dane. And again, the ball bounced in the right direction. And then O'Fallon, we kind of felt, at least as a coaching staff, that when we get there, we're just anything's gravy after that. After we win the quarterfinal game and get to the Final Four, and we play Scott City first game out, and my center fielder struggles a little bit with the plate and has one of the awfulest swings that anybody could ever have, and he winds up hitting a 2-run or 3-run home run in the second inning and kind of sets the tone for the rest of the game. And we wind up winning that game 12-1. And next day we play Summit Christian in the championship game, and we jump on them pretty quick and score 3 runs in the first. And we're kind of cruising along, and it's I think it's 4-0 at that point in time. About the 3rd or 4th inning, I guess it was the 3rd inning or 4th. Anyway, we've got a young man on the mound, a junior. Brock Kaufman is up there, and he's throwing well. And you can just kind of see he walks a batter, gives up a hit, and you can just kind of tell things were kind of tensing up on him. And started to get a little tight. They wind up with runners at second and third, and 2 outs. Top of the order coming up, and the first thing he does is uncork a wild pitch to the screen. And I've said this several different times. Nobody really believes me when I say it, but it's something that we practice. Not every day, but it's something that we practice on the retrieval from the screen. And it usually doesn't work, but in that instance, our catcher, Trey Collins, goes back, slides picture perfect on his knee, on his shin guards, flips it back to to Brock as he's covering the plate. Brock slides in, catches, and makes the tag all at the same time, and we're out of the inning and preserved the lead. And I knew that Brock was starting to get tight, and I can talk about him. His dad's sitting back there, and his dad knew it too. And I think telepathically we were kind of on the same page, because he said, "I'm glad you took him out when you did." And fortunately, we had Alex Moore, 6'7" kid, weighs, I think he weighs then about 245. Could throw it in the low 90s at that point in time, or right at 90. He was more effective whenever he threw it 89. Getting him up, getting him to the bullpen. He had thrown the game the day before. Fortunately, we didn't have the pitch counts, which was a blessing at that point in time. But he had thrown 6 solid innings against Scott City, and went to him, and I asked him, I said, "Hey, go get loose." And he runs down and gets loose, and he comes back, and I said, "How you feel?" And we'd never used our pitchers back-to-back days like that. Usually tried to keep them right at 100 pitches, and didn't try to extend them very much. And he come back in, and he said, "I'm good. I'm ready for it." And he goes out and shuts them down, finishes out the ball game, and the rest, as they say, is history on that side of it. So it was a great moment, great win for the program. The first state championship in Mountain Grove history in any sport. They try to claim a 1927 track. I think the track team consisted of 3 players, and one of the 3 scored 7 of their 9 points or something. I don't remember now, but they try to claim that one, but we like to take credit for that. This year's team, after losing the 4, we graduated 5 seniors. 4 of them went on and signed college scholarships, 2 to Evangel. Both of those guys have went on in educational decisions and are not playing. But then Alex is playing at MSU, and DJ McGownd was my shortstop, and one of the slickest players that I've ever coached as far as an infielder, and he's playing at State Fair right now, and I think Alex and DJ are having pretty good seasons. I know DJ is getting to play quite a bit. Alex is getting a little bit of time on the mound and doing well. So it was kind of hard to replace those 4, especially the 2 outfielders in the outfield, because they'd been starters since they were freshmen. A lot of speed out there, and so that's been kind of hard to fill. And we were able to get 4 games in the very first week in the Houston tournament. We considered our first game was against Licking. The boys, Licking Mountain Grove rivalry in basketball and baseball for the last 2 or 3 years, and they come out and we wind up losing that game 7-2. We go back the next day, and we feel that Licking is probably our toughest competition in our district this year. The next night we come out and play Salem, and we feel that they're the top team. They're one of the top 2 or 3 teams in our conference, and we have a 6-5 lead going into the bottom of the 7th, and they wind up putting the bat on the ball 3 different times and wind up scoring bases loaded single to right field to get a win. And then we get a day off, and I don't know if you guys have this problem or not, but I have the parent speaker that always comes up to you that has the concern of the parents around you, and they're worried about what's going on, what's happening to Mountain Grove Panther baseball. We've lost our first 2 ball games. And so I have to remind them that 7 of our starters are basketball players that had been at the Final Four just the weekend before. And that they've only had 4 days of seeing baseballs thrown at them to try to hit. And so I think the first game we wind up with 4 hits against Licking. Salem we wind up with 6 or 7. And so it was, you can see the improvement. The next 2 games we scored 15 runs against Houston, banged out 13 hits, and it played Cuba in our last game, and Cuba was preseason ranked number 8, I believe, in the state. Run their team, and they're a good quality team. They have been for years, and just do a great job over there. And we wind up winning that game 6-4 and bang out 12 hits. So hopefully the naysayers and the ones that are worried are no longer worried. But the problem is, with the weather, we haven't been able to play like we've talked about up here already. So we've had a week that we didn't get an opportunity to play. We did get to play. We started a game with Stratford on Thursday night during all that drizzly stuff, and we go into the 4th inning. We're tied 2-2. We start the top of the 5th, and we get runners at 1st and 2nd, nobody out, and I've got my 3, 4, and 5 hitters coming up, and the umpires decide to call the game. So one of those type deals that it is what it is, and we'll move on from there. So we're supposed to start conference this week. We start with Kabul tonight. Got a call from my AD a while ago, said it looked like we were still in good shape and still going to get to play. So we got them tonight. We go to host Willow Springs on Thursday night, and then we'll go down and play Dora on Friday. So that's kind of where the Panthers are at. And again, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak.
Coach Snodgrass.